What is up, everyone?
What's up?
Hello, hello, hello.
Feel Good Friday, boys.
Feel Good Friday. Thank you guys for watching us. Those that are with us, we are excited to be here. We had other things planned tonight. We had white T-shirt kind of night. That's right. Sam's got his white tee on too.
That's right.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the memo.
He didn't get the memo.
I got white down here.
Yeah, Mark,
No,
what's up, man? He's got Mark. What's up? Good to have you tonight. We were going to have some other things planned tonight, but we are otherwise doing it differently. So yeah, this is us. We're gonna be here tonight, and we're gonna be rocking it out. So yeah,
Having fun.
having fun. That's right. So it's been how long has it been since we've been together?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yesterday would have been 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
I think it's two.
It was at a Thursday.
Yeah, because it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Because we were going to try and come on last week. And then Cox came in, ISIS came and beat us down in Virginia Beach.
It's it's definitely ISIS or Russia.
ISIS
I blame everything on Russia.
Mother Russia or somebody. Came and got Jimmy's Wi-Fi down in the beach, so we couldn't do last Thursday. Then we're going to do this Monday. And we had other complications, and now we were able to do it tonight.
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Lots
All
of-
right, boys. We haven't got talked about it yet, though, and I'm going to jump right into it.
You do it. Go for it.
This Last Dance. It's concluded now. What are your thoughts as we come to the end of it?
Well, let's start with what we know. We know
Okay.
that Jordan is the GOAT. There's no question about it.
Okay.
So to say anything other than that is craziness.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful. Don't disrespect a man like that.
Or he'll come put 40 on you.
Right. So we know that to be a fact. He's the greatest.
Yeah.
But there's some other things that were interesting from it. Jordan is kind of like the first person to do everything, it feels like, in this modern NBA.
Yeah.
He's like the first person to get his own shoe deal. He's the first person to,
Big shoe deal.
Yeah, big shoe deal. He's the first person, because everybody was like a Converse deal. And I remember seeing the commercial where it was like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, a bunch of people were all like part of Converse.
Converse over their shoulders.
Right. And it was the same shoe. They just had different colors.
Lame.
Right.
But the red, black, and white Nikes.
Yeah. But that was the way that it was. And so, Mark, I agree. You could say his competitive drive made him the greatest. You could say his just, to think about all the things that happened. He had the shoe deal. He had, he was the first person to like kind of copyright his own image. Like you couldn't.
A logo.
I remember in video games, like you couldn't put Michael Jordan. You could make somebody like Michael Jordan in it, but it couldn't be Michael Jordan's likeness.
I remember 12, and his name would be Jordan Michael.
Yeah, player 99.
Yeah, but he's like the best person in the whole game. The thing that I found out, I think, from more than anything, MJ's the GOAT for sure. But the level of the way the game was played in the 90s compared to now. Watching that 96 finals game, the rewatch they had, I'm sorry. Some of these cats would not be in the league today.
Yeah, it looks like they were really rough back then.
Dude, Jerry Stockton dribbling the ball up here by his earlobe. I mean, some of these boys should be high school PE teachers in today's world. Like, God, man, these guys, you watch some of these guys play. Kyrie Irving, I can't even name Dame Lillard, Russell Westbrook. Like, some of these guys I see, like especially Stockton. I know Stockton is up there on people's lists. I mean, you see all these people that are playing. You're like, my goodness, the athletes nowadays compared to the athletes then is not even close.
Right.
And I think MJ was the one that, right, the game might have been more violent. I agree with you on that. But that made it easier for those kind of guys to succeed in that league. I think when if I don't have a game, Jimmy, you know this, especially playing football, for me, football and basketball, you with basketball. If you have a guy that might not be the greatest athlete or the greatest player, but he's big and he's broad, and in high school, college, you can put him in. Hey, listen, this guy's beating us up. Go bow him a little bit. Go get all 5 fouls that you can get.
Yeah, put a little something on him.
Put something on him. You use your body on him so you make him hurt a little bit.
Right.
And that's what the Detroit Pistons did. They said, like, we're going to put him on the floor every time we get an opportunity. Jordan was really the first one that really made – Jordan's the reason why the NBA is the way it is today.
Right. So let me get back to that. What the reason why I think, in addition to him being the first person to have like a real significant shoe deal, he changed the NBA to – and I don't want to disrespect Magic or Bird or, anybody that came before them that someone would say, they were doing this before anybody was doing this. I don't want to disrespect them in any way, shape, or form. But I do want to bring out the fact that things changed when Mike came on. Like, the league became centered around Michael.
Guard-centric.
Yeah, it was Michael's. It was, they stopped. You still have teams that'll draft a big man in the first round, first pick. But
they usually shoot now.
Right, but they want somebody that long, that can play. Like Michael was, I think about, and there's multiple things I can say about this, but the first thing I'll say is the league changed from being we want our superstars to be rugged and tough, and this game's tough, and we're okay with physicality. Things begin to change. I remember watching Michael Jordan do the pump fakes and getting people off balance, and him jumping into them, trying to get to the foul line, and his game being towards the end predicated on those mid-range jumpers where he would just work you.
Yeah.
He would just work you around the mid-range. I think that's evolved now to an extreme in some cases, but you see so many players that are selling now to the referee because the referees now are focused on making sure that the superstars don't get injured because, I think it changed. I'm not saying in the beginning. We're not talking about 80s, early 90s. But when it started to get to the end, the league shifted to a very superstar-driven league.
100%. Well, because I think David Stern realized when they went overseas in 92, I think this is when a lot of those guys on that team in 92 realized it, and they talked about it. When they went overseas in 92, Bird and Magic made the league in America popular.
Right.
MJ made the league popular throughout the world.
Well, you mentioned 92. That was the perfect example because when you went over to Spain and everybody was enamored by Michael, even the players realized, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
This dude is like bigger than anything that we've ever accomplished at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So not only was he doing it on the court, off the court, I think that's as much as he was incredible on the court and all of his skills were amazing. When you see the fact that now anybody that comes after him is judged off of the things that he created, and it's hard to overcome that. So like shoe deals now are always judged off of, well, his shoes are good, but they're not Jordans, or
no one would be on that level.
No one will be on the level. You start to enterprise yourself.
If you're the first, it's going to be hard to beat the first.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, of course there'll be upgrades like that, but it's hard to beat the originals.
It is.
So
I think on multiple levels, he's incredible, and he's the GOAT for that reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like it's crazy, and like that I'm a huge Kobe fan. It's hilarious to see how much it was translated, but then also be able to see Kobe talk about it and say, yeah, well, he told me I could call him whenever I want to, ask him a question like a big brother, and I capitalized on it.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think it's so how much the pump fake, and then when someone jumps, you jump into them, how no one did that before, and MJ did it. Now you cannot watch a game for 5 minutes and don't see somebody do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? How he just changed the whole way the game was played.
And so that's an interesting thing to me because when I think about how the league has transitioned into what it is now, and I look at the fact that people criticize players for doing some of the things that they're doing now.
I think they flip. I think they do more with the flopping. MJ never flopped.
Well, I
Jumping
agree.
into a foul, I think, is different than flopping. You know what I mean?
I agree. And I say that's why we've gone to the extreme. But you and I both know that if you are bigger, strong, and Jordan dealt with this until the league began to shift. If you are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, you're not going to get all the calls. We've seen that in the NFL with athletic quarterbacks. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt when you're running and you're faster than everybody else and you're running by everybody else. They're not going to give you the same benefit of the doubt that they're going to give somebody like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, who are not as naturally athletic and gifted. So when they take off, even somebody like Aaron Rodgers, who is an overall agile, talented person, even somebody like him is going to get the benefit of the doubt where Lamar Jackson might not, or even Russell Wilson might not.
I think is a perfect example. I think Cam Newton, when they played against Peyton, my man Cam was getting in the pocket, getting the crap beat out of him, and everybody touched Peyton Manning, a flag came out, and I just you hate it to be like that, but it's just the way it is.
Right. So I think about it and I go, yes, flopping is extreme now, but the people that are we'll just take LeBron for instance. I mean, LeBron pretty much is the poster child for flopping in the NBA.
I would say James Harden.
Yeah, James Harden is probably taken to the next level, but
man, he is.
But I think
don't touch that man's beard.
I think James Harden is more of like a showman on the perimeter than he is like trying. He'll jib jab and try to get people off balance and jump into him and try to get on the foul line. LeBron, you're seeing LeBron go to the lane, no one touch him, but acting like he gets hammered. And I know from watching other people. One particular person that I played high school basketball with used to get crushed when he was down low.
Right.
And he was so much bigger than everybody else that we played and so much stronger and made it look so much easier that he didn't get a lot of those calls because it didn't look like they were actually fouling him.
Right.
Because the average person's body moves a certain way when you hit them. Like if I were to run into my children, it's going to look like I hit them hard when I probably just walked into them. You know what I'm saying? Like if Sam walks into his girls, it's going to be like, my goodness, man, knock it out. You know what I mean? Knock it off. But like if they were to run into him, he's probably just going to be like, what, watch where you're going. By definition, it's still a foul.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same thing with like Shaq.
No, Shaq was another one I was thinking about.
I was saying like they would hack the crap out of Shaq, and Shaq would just dunk on him and make it look easy, but they won't call a foul when it really is a foul.
Right.
Best quote from Kyle says, "I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem." That is a great line.
It is a great line. And which brings me to another statement. We love when we love somebody, we will ignore their flaws.
Oh, 100%.
But when we dislike somebody, their flaws will always be brought to the forefront.
I think my favorite comment was from James Worthy when James Worthy looked at him and says, "Hey, I'm the best player here. You have to beat me." While he was at UNC with them. Yeah. I'm the best player here. He said, and then 2 weeks later that changed.
It didn't take long. It didn't
take long. And James Worthy's a stud.
Yeah, anybody that played with, man, I got so many thoughts on The Last Dance. We could talk about The Last Dance the entire time. Like I could literally bring up all the things that I've ever talked about. The fact that
we talk about this, a hot take that I told you I want to bring up.
You give me one thing from them. Sam, you're going to give us one. I'll give you one. And then we'll move on.
I think, I texted this to you. I think Pippen, if they're playing a 7-game series, would lock down LeBron James. I think LeBron James would not have anywhere near what he averages points-wise, assist rate, anything. I think Scottie Pippen, with how long and how big he is, I think Scottie Pippen would lock LeBron down because he has the thickness. If you want to say, I don't know what team of them you want to say. Earlier, maybe Scottie was a little thinner, but he was athletic enough to run with LeBron. And but then the last 3 years, I think Scottie was a little bit thicker, and he could then maybe bang with him more. But I 100% think that Scottie Pippen could hang with LeBron and give him a rough night.
That's
Hot
good.
take.
I don't think I have one.
Okay.
I'm not prepared. I wasn't prepared for this. I was
What did you
supposed to
think?
be. Hey, I was supposed to be with my family, but they ditched me.
He was a That's a hot take.
Hey, you got. What did you think about it though, Sam? Because you did watch it. I know you and Courtney watched it.
Yeah, we watched it. I mean, it was good. I mean, me growing up in Bolivia, we didn't watch a lot of basketball, so it wasn't much until we just came here into the States. That's when we got to it, which we got here, I think like 1998. So he was probably already, done. I think that was the last year, right? 98.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have you? I would like to know that. Did you ever hear of Jordan while you were in Bolivia?
Yes. Yeah, we heard of him.
Did you-
Yes.
Did you hear of anybody else, or
Yeah,
just
we knew-
Jordan was the main one?
Just Jordan. That's the only one.
Hey man,
The Chicago
Let's get
Bulls.
to Bolivia.
If anybody had a jersey or anything, it was from Chicago Bulls, from Michael Jordan. That's it.
Yeah.
But like I say, I never watched, any basketball from
Yeah.
there. But I mean, just watching how competitive he was is just crazy.
He's a different
Because
level.
and plus the other thing that even Courtney says, like, I mean, they didn't show any of his family, like his kids.
They showed his
No.
two sons at the last.
Yeah,
episode.
at the end for just like 30 seconds.
I mean, that's
So
all they
which that was one thing. I was trying to figure out, what their kids thought, get a more perspective of his, but that was it. But it was good.
about the game.
I didn't know Shaq played with them against them.
Yeah, Shaq was in the league and
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah. See, so this is the that Sammy brought up a good point with Shaq though. A couple great points with the family. The fact that people automatically say, which I happen to be one of them, when you're watching that team play in '97 or whenever, in '96, you're like, oh my goodness, these guys are, they could win 3 more if they keep playing. But
100%.
Mhm.
you say that, but Kobe was in the league.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Shaq was in the
ran up
league.
to the 2000s, I think.
Right.
And when they faced the Lakers, but if Phil Jackson's out with the Lakers, I don't know what the Lakers would be like. You know what I mean? So that's all. If you take the Lakers 2000, 2003, probably the 2003, probably their best team, versus what 97 Bulls their best team,
Right.
I think the Bulls would have a lot of issues because of Shaq.
Yeah. No, that's why I think I'm not just quick to say that whatever Krause or Reinsdorf did with breaking the team up was a bad thing in the sense of a business. Now, when you're winning, it's hard for me to go, well, let's break it up if you're winning. But
Retarded.
I mean, the league they were a phenomenal team. However, they were aging. So let me hit what Caleb, what you said first by saying Pippen could beat LeBron or guard LeBron. I think Pippen could have guarded Jordan. I think Pippen could have guarded Kobe. I think Pippen could have guarded Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. I think Pippen could have guarded Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. The only person that I wonder if he could guard would be Kevin Durant.
I think Jordan and Kobe could shoot good enough to cause.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing about it. LeBron's a better shooter than Jordan.
Yeah, percentage-wise, because I think he take a whole lot less shots, though.
He does take a whole lot less shots. He does.
So if you take a less sample size, your percentage is going to be greater. If I take 20 shots and you take 5 shots, you make 3 for 5, and I make 10 out of 20, you have a better percentage than me.
Right, but think about that on the grand scheme of things. If I'm taking 3 shots and hitting 5, that means I'm more accurate than the person that's
Yeah, but
taking
you're only
20
giving
shots and making 10.
6 or 9. but you're only giving 6 or 9 points when the person that's making 10 shots could give 20 to 30 points.
Right, right. So it weighs out on the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But no one's going to make the argument and wholeheartedly put their backs behind it that that LeBron, if the game was on the line, you would want LeBron to shoot it versus Jordan or Kobe. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting there making an argument. I'm just saying to say to say that Kobe and Jordan could defend Pippen minimizes the fact that on the other end of the spectrum, we miss out on the fact that see, Mark, and you're right. Jordan did get mugged more than LeBron because Jordan had to have.
Different era. I think it's hard to talk about say it like that because
Who's going to mug
back then-
LeBron? You think Shaq's going to come out of retirement and hold LeBron down?
I think
Moses
everybody
Malone,
got
Charles
mugged back
Barkley.
then.
You think they're going to lay on LeBron when he's running down the court? Like, there's
but
nobody bigger than
everyone-
LeBron on the court.
But everyone got mugged. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just Jordan getting mugged.
No, but it was
Everybody
more
got-
physical, and he Mark's right in that
That's
regard.
what I
It was
mean.
more physical.
Yeah, it's 100% more physical. I think Pippen could hang with Westbrook, Tyler, but Westbrook is just so explosive. I think that might be some struggle there.
It's too fast.
Yeah, he's too quick.
Too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Like what I was saying earlier. Can you see John Stockton guarding Westbrook? The point guards nowadays, and some of the dude, there's no way.
Yeah, but I mean, when you
No.
think about like LeBron, I mean, you think about LeBron. The league's much bigger now than it used to be in terms of height. But like the biggest conversation was Gary Payton talking about how he really put it to Michael Jordan and just started to those last
yeah.
started to really weigh on him. Right? Gary Payton is 6'2", maybe 6'4",
Right. And that's why he said, "Oh no, he's less than 6'4". I think he's 6'2" or 6'3".
Right. So he's 6'2". Jordan is 6'6".
That's why Jordan laughed and said, "Nah."
Right. So the fact that Michael Jordan was like the best defender in the league when Michael Jordan played, there was never anybody that I know of that guarded Michael Jordan. Maybe, I don't know, Clyde Drexler was never considered a defensive person, I don't
they
think. I
taught
think he
that
was more of a
trash talk.
finesse guy.
MJ did him into.
Right. But Charles Barkley, I don't think, defended Michael Jordan when they played
Charles
the
Barkley's
Suns.
too slow.
Right.
There's no way.
So
No way.
So name a player that was even in the category of size that could guard Michael Jordan. Nobody could guard Michael Jordan
Yeah, no. I think, and that might be a little bit different this with
except
LeBron.
Scottie Pippen. Imagine that. Imagine having the one person on your team that could equalize you and stop you from scoring. Probably one of the greatest defenders that the game has ever. Maybe two of the greatest defenders. I mean, we're discrediting Dennis Rodman, who guarded Karl Malone, Shaq.
He struggled with Shaq though.
He did, but he still.
Shaq did that man in, bro.
They still won.
No, I agree, but Shaq got his. Let me just tell you.
I think you should go back and watch that series because the fact that they even put Dennis Rodman on Shaq.
But they knew the other big guys weren't quick enough.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You have two guys on your team that could defend you. If Dennis Rodman had,
Dennis Rodman could. I don't think Dennis Rodman for a whole game could run with Michael for a possession or a couple possessions. Yeah, I think they could, but I think.
Right, I think Mark brings up a good point. Dennis was the guy that guarded Michael Jordan in the '90s, in the early '90s.
No,
late
what's
80s.
his name was? No, it wasn't Rodman. It was their two guard. It was
Dumars.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. They said they wanted Rodman down the block and Lambeer, so when he drove in, they could both put him on the ground. They had Rodman on Pippen.
I think Rodman still took some time
Well,
in
I'm
on
sure he
Jordan.
took some plays. I mean,
Because-
we all know everyone's
Dumars. It was Joe Dumars.
Yeah, but Dumars himself was 6'2", 6'3".
Who was the one that they said was like a defensive presence that Michael just destroyed? Some young kid.
He was something from the Blazers, I think. Was it? No.
Anywho,
Point being, I think Pippen could guard LeBron. I think you're right, but I also think Pippen could have guarded Jordan and Kobe. Can you imagine as physical as Pippen and as engaged as Pippen was? I mean, when you watch that '92 championship in Barcelona where the U.S. men's team played Croatia, and Jordan and Pippen were like, "Don't touch Kukoc. We got him."
Oh God, and they just hawked him.
Right.
Oh God, they
And
just
they
hawked him.
and that's what I'm saying. Like to have a team, even though they're all in their mid to late 30s, where two of the probably best defenders in the league are on your team. You know, that's a luxury that I don't know that any other player has probably had. I mean, you could say Magic may have had that, or Bird maybe in '86, maybe on that Celtics team. But it's phenomenal. So to say that Pippen could beat LeBron or guard LeBron, I think says less about LeBron's ineptitude and more about the fact that Pippen's just a man.
Oh yeah, I agree. I wasn't saying anything about LeBron. I'm just saying like
Okay, I'm just setting the record straight because I was starting to get my feelings hurt.
no. I think if you put, I think we said this when we talked the other day. If you put them in a 7-game series, whatever best LeBron team, even the Heat teams, versus the best Bull team, I think the Bulls are winning in 5 or 6. Because MJ Wade, MJ's going to win that matchup every time.
Now,
I think LeBron's going to be able to, or Pippen's going to be able to hold LeBron down. And Bosch, I think, is with Rodman. I mean, I don't know if that's
Sam, can you look up what year the Bulls drafted Tony Kukoc?
93 or 91. It was the year before they went, I think, because the guy bragged about it.
I know that he stayed in Croatia for like 3 years after they
Yeah, so I
drafted
remember
him.
he did stay in there.
Can you imagine that team had Tony Kukoc played longer? Like, I think they probably could have won when Jordan retired with Tony Kukoc.
Did he not keep playing?
I don't think Kukoc was on the team during those 2 years.
I thought he was there for the second three-peat too.
I don't think Kukoc was there
80
for the first repeat.
It says 87.
Man, he was there
Hold
for
on.
5 years before he came over.
91 is when they drafted him, or when he came to the Bulls?
No, he didn't come to the Bulls in
Let's
91,
see. It was drafted in 1990,
1990.
round 2, pick 29.
So,
What does it say?
1990.
I think it was by the Bulls.
Yeah, the
It was
Bulls
by the
drafted
Bulls,
him, but then he stayed in Croatia for like 3 years, I think. Yeah, 95 or 96. So he came to the Bulls the second half of their three-peat.
Yeah.
Think about that, man. If he'd actually come to the Bulls early, that's how good that Bulls team was. So, I
Yeah.
mean, as much as Krause is looked at as a bad guy in this documentary, if I'm gonna defend the short, fat men in the world, the short, white, fat men of the world, then I'm going to say that you got to give the man some credit for putting together the team that he put together, that we consider the greatest team ever.
I mean, and he gave Phil Jackson a spot to be a head coach.
Right. Phil Jackson was his guy that he was grooming.
But then for some reason he wanted to get rid of him.
Well, he's a small man, and they had a small
Well,
man
it's like-
syndrome.
Well, what everyone says is like they felt like he could just do it again. And what have the Bulls done since they broke up in '97?
I don't think have they won one since that. That's it, right?
Closest thing was Derrick Rose getting destroyed by LeBron.
Those teams were good, man, when Rose was there. If
They
if
were
he'd have
good.
stayed healthy, I think they could have done something. But you had a lot of conflicting factors. Thibodeau is a tough coach, man. He grinds his players.
I agree.
Phil
But I was
Jackson
gonna say
does
this too is-
yoga with his players.
I would love to see Michael play in today's rules though. Cause I think he could average 40.
No, I probably could. Yeah, he probably could.
Legit. Cause I feel like watching those games, that dude was running around statues. I feel like his athleticism was just another level. And if he could grow up the way all these kids have, like these players have grown up watching MJ and how the game changed.
Right.
And how he can be influenced like that the whole way up, and his athleticism and his determination would have been great. Oh gosh, he would have scored 50 points.
Well,
He
he'd
would've
probably
beat
he'd
Chamberlain's
probably be
record.
James. He'd probably be James Harden right now.
Well, without the flopping,
I don't know, man. I think we have to if he
I don't
played.
think Jordan would be that flopper. He's not like that.
So then, what were?
And James Harden don't play defense.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I know that Jordan won, all these defensive all team awards. And I'm gonna say something that's gonna offend some people, but I can watch YouTube videos of Jordan chasing people down and stealing them or blocking them or stealing the ball in transition. But Jordan has never, I don't think Jordan was ever asked to guard the best player on the other team the whole game and shut them down.
No disagreement.
Hmm.
Has LeBron
Yes.
versus who?
When they played Oklahoma City, LeBron was guarding KD a lot in that game. When they played Golden State, you saw LeBron playing considerable minutes against Klay Thompson. He wasn't guarding Steph Curry because that's not even smart basketball.
Yeah, I'd say Clay doesn't run around much though.
He doesn't.
Clay's stationary one.
And I wasn't even making that argument to say that LeBron. I wasn't even a LeBron Jordan statement. I was just saying if we're saying Jordan plays defense and so he wouldn't be like a Harden or a Westbrook, I don't know that if the lanes are wide open and the game is more open like it is now and there's less there's no hand checking, it's not as physical as it used to be. I think you're going to see guys like Jordan, how would you even defend the way that Jordan wants to defend? He'd foul out of every game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
No, I'm with you. I think he had that in him, though. I think he was
I'm not saying that he didn't. I just think it's like, we've made that argument with Steph Curry. Like, Steph Curry's an incredible player, and he has won some defensive awards. But, Mark brought up that Jordan didn't have to do all that. But I can't think of a team that.
Listen, we all can't be Kobe's, okay? Listen,
I can't think of a team that Kobe. I can't think of a team that Kobe, Jordan, Steph, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. You can go down the list. I can't think of a team, any team that those guys have been on, where they were the best defender and the best scorer, best everything, and then they had to make memorable moments to shut things down. Like Jordan made the steal on Brian Russell at the end of that Jazz game, right? Which was a huge moment for them, for him to come down and then shoot the game-winning shot. But
no, he stole it from Malone.
Oh, I thought you're right. He stole it from Malone.
No, he came from the backside.
And then he went and scored on that Brian Russell guy, Brian Russell.
I think you don't. I don't think you remember the Lakers. Lakers second to I'm about to say Super Bowls, 2 championships. Kobe was the best defender on that team.
No, I'm a Lakers fan. 2018, circa 2018.
Yeah, I know. Kobe was the best defender on that team.
I don't know, man. Lamar Odom played a lot of minutes in
against
defense.
Paul Pierce. Kobe Bryant guarded Paul Pierce in the finals.
Metta World Peace was a big defender on that team.
He was there the last year. The first championship. He guarded Paul Pierce or Ray Allen the whole game.
I'll give you that.
And then he played them twice. He did it in the 09 and he did it in 09 and then 11.
So
and
I would
go ahead.
So I wasn't even talking, like I say, I was just making that statement to say that Jordan wouldn't be in those categories. It's tough because those guys have evolved their game to the league.
Yeah. Because of Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan started it. That was the whole point of me saying Jordan started this ball-centric, the fact that they even instituted what they did in Chicago was because Phil was trying to take him away from being a ball-centric player. You know what I mean? And but it's still what you remember. You don't remember Jordan passing to Steve Kerr or passing to John Paxson. You remember him taking the ball down the court, juking, driving, banging, shooting, doing his thing. Like, that's what you remember. So all these players grew up watching him do that, not him operating efficiently the triangle offense. You know what I mean? That's just not what you're. Same with Kobe. Yeah, same with Kobe. I agree. Now, the fact that they do it with LeBron is funny because it's like LeBron, oh, he passes too much. He doesn't have the killer instinct. He doesn't shoot. But I mean, Kobe and Jordan still operated in a system, and they had teammates around them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they utilized their teammates. If not, they wouldn't have won. That's the whole reason why the Bulls became successful, is because Phil was like, Mike, you got to start to let other people get into the mix a little bit.
Phil said, we know what you can do. So does every other team.
Right.
How about we find out what these other guys can do?
And that's why he's a genius.
That's why he's a Zen master.
Right. So I'll say this also. Sam, you mentioned the point about his kids. I don't know about his kids either, but that's always interesting to me. Whether he's, because like he's great and you want to see. Now it seems like maybe it's just fatherhood was different, and I'll give a take of that. Fatherhood was different. Yeah, Tex Winter does deserve more credit than the documentary gave him. I will say this: I only heard the man's name probably 5 times before the documentary. So
I don't know who that is.
kudos to that. Tex Winter is the inventor of the triangle offense. And if you want to know the genius of Jerry Krause or Crouch or whatever, he hired Tex Winter to groom Phil Jackson.
Right.
And then I think Tex Winter followed Phil Jackson to Los Angeles.
Tex, there's your salute. There you go.
So I think Mark's right. That just further to me proves how smart Krause was, but his pride just got into the way. But let me get back to what Sam said about his kids. It is interesting, and I mentioned about his flaws. Jordan didn't have, he had supportive parents, but it seemed like he had a doting mother and a father who loved him, but more loved him with a firm hand than maybe what you see now with some fathers who are actively supporting and championing their kids and on the sidelines, rooting for them to succeed and wanting them to be better than them. You just kind of didn't see that in some, and I think that maybe is more of a generational thing than it is a character issue, because I don't know anything about Jordan's kids or himself, but you would think somebody with his incredible athletic ability and God-given talent that he had, that you would see some of that translated in, because now you can go on YouTube and every former NBA great, even the ones that are good, their kids are like phenoms in college.
Well, his one son, he went somewhere.
Played baseball, right?
Well, no, one of his sons played basketball, and I remember they said that he said that, I think it said the pressure just built up too much of trying to fill his dad's shoes, and he just, but he played college, I'm pretty sure, somewhere.
Let me see.
Yeah, see what his kids did, Sam. Because I don't remember his kids ever being like a highly recruited athlete or anything like that.
I think it's hard for your kid to play a different sport, in my opinion.
Oh, that's a good topic. Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott. While Sam's looking that up, let me
take Cam over both.
Yeah. You'll take who? Cam over both?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Man, I'd love to see Cam in Dallas.
With what's his name? With the coach?
Yeah, with that team, man, around them, that'd be special.
The Cowboys would be legit.
So Sam's looking that up. I will say this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam. What you got?
Let's see. It said Marcus, one of his sons, he played basketball at UCF.
Yeah. So I remember one of his sons played basketball at D1. It was,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if his name was Marcus or not. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
That's the only ones. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I think only one did.
I guess she has twin daughters, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 2 sons and 2 girls, I think.
But
There it is. Jeffrey Jordan played basketball.
Yeah, Jeffrey's the one
College.
that I was thinking about, but I didn't know he played basketball. I thought he played more baseball.
Well, that's why it's like Ken Griffey's son.
Yeah.
He was a big baseball player, but he was a big football player, and he played at University of Arizona.
Yeah.
Football, and he's like a receiver in the league now.
Yeah. You just sometimes wonder with these all-time greats, because their psyche is different, and so it's fascinating. Like, Jordan doesn't seem like the type of person that ever was willing to, like, not. It wasn't a spotlight issue for him, but I think Kyle mentioned it when he said that he didn't have a gambling problem; he had a competition problem. Jordan was so competitive. I don't know that he would ever cede that competitive advantage to anybody in his life. That's what makes him successful.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it comes to parents, they almost, and you see the spectrum. You got some parents that are so competitive that they never want their kids to succeed. Then you got some parents that are like, you know, I want my kids to do better than me, so I'm going to work hard to do better so that they can be better, and I want to support them to make them better. You just never know how it's going to work out. So I just thought it was interesting too. Somebody who's so beloved and so iconic, you'd think that, and I don't know if it's right to think that, but you would think that he would have some sort of his kids would have more of an involvement in his empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, both his sons were decked out in Jordan stuff, though.
Man, I would wear everything Jordan if I was.
I mean, I think one of his daughters, she works for Nike. She's on the board.
Yeah.
Let's see which
Jordan's
one
daughter
is.
is?
He set them up fine.
She's a Nike executive, Jasmine Jordan.
So what would you do then? Would you want to play and be better than your dad, or would you just want to be like, you know what, I'll just go to my private island and soak up all the stocks that I'm going to inherit once you pass on?
Thing is, though, I think that's the thing about maybe kids and stuff like that. The way that I am, because I'm super competitive, I will try and be better than my dad. But if your kid, because I mean, and I didn't grow up rich or whatever, but if you grow up a certain lifestyle, I think you lose that grittiness. They didn't grow up in the rural North Carolina, didn't have anything, like they didn't live in that lifestyle.
Right.
You know, and I think that's why Bronny might be a different beast. If Bronny's the way that everyone talk about how good he is and what a beast he could be, I think he has that competitiveness that's going to push him past being rich and having all these, you know, the luxury of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, it's a different person-to-person thing.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest takeaway for me was the fact that he had such an impact on the game, and I mentioned some of it earlier, but he had such an impact on the game, bigger than just his ability on the court, that changed basketball forever.
Yeah.
And I think that watching that documentary just further cemented, like everybody went back to that going, man, I remember this time. I wish that we could go back to this. I wish that team never broke up. And then like all the things that happened as a result of that. I mean, he changed the game, and we will forever be indebted to him for that. He's the GOAT. He will always be the GOAT.
Football talk.
Let's talk about some football. Vegas thinks that, and Sam's got some.
Let me respond to Tyler.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tyler, I agree with you, but he's been injured. But also, if you look at his year last year before he hurt his shoulder, his numbers before he hurt his shoulder, if it was last year, maybe the year before last year, I mean the year before, when he hurt his shoulder, his numbers were better than his MVP year, percentage-wise, everything wise. His interceptions were lower. I think it was week 9 or week 10 that he got hurt against the Steelers and they jacked up his throwing shoulder. Before that week, he was in the leading MVP candidate, and his numbers were crazy. Last year, my man played hurt. Jacked up ankle, jacked shoulder, and I think people are going to get a reality check. Whoever finally gives a chance to Cam, and when he comes out and thing, to me, the Cowboys, I would have signed him. Or now looking at the picture, if I'm the Patriots, I would sign I would sign Cam Newton and bring him in with Bill Belichick. A little 1 year, give it a tryout. Who cares if you have a good year or a bad year? 1 year with the Patriots with Bill.
Here's what the NFL.
Actually, I'm not a huge Cam guy. I'm really not. But if you just look at his stats,
He's got his
good.
Cam jersey underneath of his hoodie.
Yeah, underneath my hoodie. No, I'm not. There's things about him that I didn't love. I wasn't a fan of. But the dude's an athlete, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he has done.
But I think
them Panthers team on the offense had nobody.
No, they did.
Besides Greg Olsen.
No, Cam Newton is basically the LeBron of the NFL.
Right. Look, now you need to go to South Beach, which is Dallas, and get the squad around him, win some ships, and then just, you know what I mean?
But here's the difference between the NFL and Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball honors their legends past their prime.
CEO.
But
Why not a Cam guy?
But Major League Baseball is good. Like you'll see these guys being in their late 30s getting contracts because they only want them situationally, or they just still got something left in the tank. And you'll see that some with quarterbacks, like some quarterbacks, But more times than, I mean, obviously Tampa Bay just hired Brady. Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. But there's so many good quarterbacks that still had something to offer, and either they didn't get an opportunity to be a backup quarterback somewhere. People just didn't want them. Like, to me, it's crazy to think that Cam Newton doesn't have somebody wanting him to play on their team.
Well, I think it's just because everything's so diluted. I think so many quarterbacks like you said, there's so many out there, so nobody wants to take a risk on it. Well, Mark, let me say this: the high percentage quarterback, I agree with you, but guess what? Anybody on your roster is not better than Cam Newton. Stidham or whatever his name is, and then the guy that was a backup quarterback to Brissett at the Colts last year is not better than Cam Newton.
Right,
Cam Newton's a freak.
but I think what Mark's saying is, and a lot of these teams are doing this. You look at guys, I'll throw Kaepernick into that mix. Kaepernick, Cam Newton. You can even get out of the quarterback situation. You could talk about some wide receivers. You can tell me Dez Bryant doesn't have something to offer to a team, or
So is that going to be the next Lamar Jackson then?
I think Lamar Jackson is going to find himself in that category too. At some point, his athleticism is going to wear, and people aren't going to look at him, because I think it's just easier to go and get somebody and groom them to be a system quarterback, because that's what colleges are doing, than it is to take an iconic, talented person who's athletic, who's got all these intangibles, and try to build a system around them, because that's just not the way the NFL is going now.
I agree, but to me, there's a difference between Marcus Mariota, RG3, Colin Kaepernick, and Cam Newton. There's a difference. Cam literally took a team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm saying about the NFL. The NFL does not reward people who were good and could be good. They're just not good anymore.
Yeah. No, Jason, just so let me clarify this. I wasn't saying anything about Brissett. I was saying New England traded for the backup that used to be in New England, backing up Tom Brady. I'm not talking about Brissett. Brissett's good. I'm shocked that the Colts went after Phillip Rivers. I think they actually gave Brissett an actual offseason to play. I think he would have done really well. I like Brissett. I think he's very good. I do think the Patriots are taking for Lawrence.
Listen,
I've said that.
I hope the Patriots are tanking for Lawrence, because if you're not tanking for Lawrence, you're not watching football right now.
Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence is the future.
Yeah. Anybody who has, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders traded their entire team and just stocked a bunch of draft picks and just tanked for Trevor Lawrence.
And they signed Marcus Mariota. That makes no sense.
Yeah. So we're running out of time here. We want to go into some win totals, because some interesting things to talk about. Yeah. See, Jason, I thought what you were saying is that Brissett was a joke.
I didn't think he was. I
Yeah.
thought that Brissett's actually good.
You found out, Jason, what I'm hearing from you. You found out that he is what you thought he was.
But did he get hurt though? Warner
Yeah, I think
had a
so.
good record.
Imagine
and they got
that.
hurt?
Indianapolis Colts quarterback gets hurt.
Well, they have their O line at the Colts is legit.
Right. So let's get into some win totals.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Colts
Sam.
10 wins with Phillip Rivers calling it.
How's it set up, Sam? What do you got?
So the top ones, you have the Ravens and the Chiefs are the same, 12.
12 wins. What do you think about
Okay.
that?
Or
12
no in the
wins.
Ravens.
12 wins. It's a lot to get 12 wins.
Under on the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going 10-6 on the Ravens.
People are going to figure out Lamar Jackson.
Then the next ones are the Saints and San Fran at 10.5.
Oh,
I like both of them at 10 wins.
But 10.5, that's over under.
I'm going under.
Under on
I
both of them?
think the Saints are going to be way under.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be. I think that with Tampa, and I think Atlanta's going to have a good year too. I think Todd Gurley's going to have a show out year. I think they're going to be like a 9-8 win team. Who was the other one?
San Francisco, 49ers.
Yeah, I don't know. I could probably see 10, so I'll say under.
I think
Now,
it's
what
hard.
about
I think it's hard to get 12 wins. I mean, the Chiefs. I don't know.
Chiefs will get 12 wins.
Yeah, the Chiefs are good.
If Mahomes stay healthy, they're getting 12 wins. Not the Ravens. Ravens will not have 12 wins.
What I say is that Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Seahawks 9.5.
Seahawks, I'll say under. Cowboys, if Dak comes, I'll give them. I think they'll win 10 games, so I'll go over. And who's the third team?
The Eagles.
Oh, I'm saying under in the Eagles.
Yeah, Jason, were you saying that you are hype on Philadelphia this year? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Aren't you a Colts fan?
Well, it's okay to be hype on a team to think they're going to be good.
I was just kidding.
Vegas is high on the Cowboys, and particularly high on Dak Prescott, who they consider to be a favorite to win the MVP, which I think is crazy when he may not even be the best quarterback on his team.
Boom roasted.
But so what do we got here? You're thinking the Ravens, the Chiefs, and San Fran should get over 10 wins?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. I think Ravens and 49ers will get 10 wins.
10 wins.
I think Chiefs will be the 12.
Oh, Phillip Rivers. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Phil. Okay, yeah. There we go, Jason. I about to say, since when Jason complimented other teams? I've never seen him do this.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Phillip Rivers do well. I'd love to see him
He's a squad.
succeed. He does have
He
a
can
squad.
go 0-16. That's what I'm talking about, Jason. Tell me how you really feel, bub. Yeah. I just think I have 4 teams or maybe 5 teams that I think I have in my head that's going to win 10 or more games.
Well, give it to me.
Wait.
Chiefs, San Fran at 10, Baltimore at 10. I picked the Colts to go 10-6.
What?
And then Tom Brady.
What?
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go 11-5. No, I think in that division, Phil has a chance. Colts has a good team, dude.
Yeah.
Colts have a really good team. This might be one of the best teams that Phil will play on, especially with the defense.
Yeah.
Well, they're calling the Colts 8.5.
That's an
What they're
improvement.
giving them.
That's an
It's
improvement.
unknown. It's unknown with them, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be a fresh environment, something to prove. You're either going to get the Phillip Rivers who is like trash talking, just doing his thing out there, or the guy that throws a bunch of picks.
I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Sneaker MVP.
Yeah.
talk. It's not
Where do they got Green Bay at, Sam?
Not really.
9
Yeah,
wins.
Green Bay's not winning. That division's too tough. They're
Oh.
not going to win.
Lauren Bradley coming in with the Lions talk.
Hey, they're a big Detroit fan. Let me just tell
They got
you.
They got the
I-
Vikings on 9 too.
I love that family,
Dude.
but Detroit coming in at 12-3 is a hard no.
Hi, Lauren.
Hard.
Thanks for
no.
watching the
No, but
show.
let me talk about that division though.
Let's see.
That's why Green Bay, the Vikings, they won't win 10 games because Detroit is always a tough game and Chicago's always a tough game.
Do you think
especially
that's
if
the-
Nick Foles playing quarterback.
Do you think that's the toughest division in football?
Oh no, I think with Tom Brady going down there, that's the toughest division. Tom, Breeze, Matt Ryan,
Falcons.
and Teddy Bridgewater now.
Yeah.
That's a setup, boy. The Carolina might be down this year, but that North is close second. If Nick Foles is playing, then I could run with those 4 guys.
Wait, you said Teddy Bridgewater.
He's the Panthers quarterback.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, wow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that division is stacked with quarterbacks
It
for
is.
sure.
I mean, and the North is Kurt, Rodgers, if it's Foles, and then Matthew Stafford.
I'm not a big fan of that. If you just graded off of quarterbacks, I'm not a fan of that.
Matthew Stafford's a stud, dude.
He is
I'm
a
a
stud.
Vikings fan. I would love to have Matthew Stafford on my team.
No, he's a stud. But if you just judge it off of quarterbacks, yeah, that
Oh,
South
yeah, no,
that
the
South division
South
is insane, man.
All day. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're the best division. I 100% think that they're best.
What do you
yeah,
think happens though?
I figured Lawrence.
I mean, Brady obviously gets the credit because he's played in a winter football, but I mean, historically those South teams don't do well in the playoffs.
Well, when they had to come to Tampa every single week, I think they'll do fine. They get to stay home for the Super Bowl too.
All right, so Mark broke down or Tyler broke down his. He's got Green Bay at 11, Minnesota 9, Chicago at 8, and Detroit at 6. Wow, Mark coming in hot with the 8 wins for Tampa. You know, you don't want to see something in that way.
I'm
But-
just saying, I think that's a hard no.
You don't want to see something end, but at some point it's going to end. At some point the wheels are going to fall off, and it might be this year. I think they're too stacked to not win more than 8 games, just for the simple fact of
the first couple years of Peyton in Denver.
right.
His last year in Denver came about 4 years down the road. These first 2-3 years, my man Tom Brady's gonna be setting some numbers.
Yeah, but isn't he 42?
I think 43.
Tom
Right,
Brady?
so he's much older than Peyton Manning was when he went to Denver.
How old was Tom when Manning went there?
Look up, Sam. How old was Peyton Manning when he went to Denver? I think he was in his late 30s.
Brady's 42.
YouTube. My computer's moving slow.
It's okay.
Let me see. He was at 2012.
And Peyton's 44.
He's 44 now? Right, so he's Tom Brady's age,
Mhm.
and he went to Denver.
Tom Brady just turned 42.
Right.
But Tom
Right.
Brady is 42. Just looked it up on Google.
Right, but think about it. Peyton Manning went to Denver in 2012. He's 44 now. That's 8 years ago. So he was in his
He was in
mid to late
2012?
30s.
Yeah, let me see. He was.
was
Yeah,
only-
he's
he was
44 right now.
In Denver for 4 years though.
44, ladies. 44.
2012 to 2015.
3 years. Yeah. But honestly, Tom Brady has a squad.
I mean, I think Brady's going to do well in Tampa. I would love to see him win a Super Bowl there, but I think that's probably just naive
Tyler,
of
the
me.
defense last year was ranked 5th in the league under the first-year coordinator. That defense doesn't need much help. The defense is good. They had a quarterback that threw 30 picks last year. That was the Tampa Bay problem.
We will definitely
the-
see. We'll
Had the
definitely see.
leading passer and the leading passer in interception.
So, Sam, who do the experts think is the leading candidate to get Trevor Lawrence next year? What's the worst record? Do they have that?
Yeah, Washington Redskins.
Well,
They won't pick him.
I hope
Jacksonville.
they give
Jackson.
Dwayne Haskins
Another
a
one.
chance.
Another people were saying that Jacksonville. I know a lot of people say they think Jacksonville will take it. That's why they got rid of Nick Foles.
I would love to see him in Jacksonville. I'd love to see Jacksonville have
I
a
would.
quarterback and be good again.
Yeah, those are the two bottom ones.
You can't teach size.
I
Gronk
hope-
is not finished.
I hope it works out for Dwayne Haskins in Washington.
You forget what happened with a year off for some people. Adrian Peterson was done too, guys.
Yeah, but
Year
you know,
off. He was old, over the hill. The dude was trash.
right? But
Blah,
for
blah, blah,
every
blah. My man came back and led for the Redskins the past 2 years in rushing.
Adrian Peterson, you have a Charles Barkley in Houston, or
I agree.
Karl
agree.
Malone in Los
When's
Angeles.
the last time you've had a Gronkowski that's 6'8", 6'7", who's lost weight and looks better than he's ever had, and said he's felt better than he has in 10 years?
Listen, I was never more happy to hear that he was going back to the NFL, because having to watch him on The Masked Singer was probably one of the most excruciating things I've ever watched in my life. The fact that they broke it up into 3 different times where I had to watch him sing 3 different times, that was the worst. I'd rather them split it up and play somebody else for in a couple of episodes. But for 3 episodes in a row, you had to listen to Gronkowski sing. It was horrible.
Hey, Tyler, you should go look up some of the videos Gronk's right now. Gronk has gained about 25 pounds back already. My man's been working long-term, already knew what he was doing.
We'll see. If anything, it's going to be a good story.
You know what anything is? My man's 6'7". You know what you can do with that? Throw it up to him in the
He
end
still
zone
has to
and call
run.
touchdown
Yeah.
city.
He could be
Average corner's 5'9".
right. He could still be a threat in the end zone, but he's not going to stretch the field, which they've got Mike Evans there and some other players.
And Godwin, you don't need anybody to stretch the
Right.
field.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, so
Vikings win.
Vikings win the Super Bowl. The chances of here's my hot take for the NFL. The chances of Derek Carr being a Raider in 2 years, slim to none.
I think it depends on how good he does this year.
That's what I'm saying. This is his year. If he doesn't do well this year, they're gonna look to move on somebody else.
Yeah, NFL is a young man's game, but the best player every single year is 42 years old.
Right. So the Raiders will sign some veteran
Chris
quarterback.
Godwin's a stud, Jason. Man, y'all need to go watch some film, boys.
Watch some
I
film.
watched some film on Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, listen, boys. We're probably going to head out here. We appreciate you guys watching. We're going to end it with a little.
One last statement.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One last thing. Tell me what receivers running deep routes for Tom Brady last year. All right, thank you.
None.
Exactly.
Edelman.
Exactly.
Edelman.
Old man Edel.
All right, boys. Guys, make sure to like and share this video. Thanks for watching it. We appreciate it. We're going to send it off with a little music. See ya.